We are live.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another late night episode on the Leaf and Ash podcast. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. Are we live
Yep,
on YouTube?
we are.
There we go. And this time, guys, special treat. We got the three of us instead of four of us, instead of the two of us. As always, guys, I'm your boy Panda. And the top left, we got the cigar down. What's going on, Donnie boy?
What's happening, everybody? The late hour.
The late hour. That's a good name for this, right? The late hour cigar shop, top, tip, chop, choppity, chop, whatever we want to call it now.
Yep.
Guys, on the top right, as always, we got the cigar. What up, Muddy?
Hey, getting smoky at the witching hour, bud.
Man, tell me about it, right? So, before we get started, what are we smoking on, guys? What do you got up there, Donnie?
I got the Rojas Unfinished Business.
Oh, okay. Have you had that one before?
I have. It's fantastic.
It's a good steak.
I
It's
love
up
it.
there in price too, though. I mean, the price point on that's pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's like what, $18 or something like that.
I don't remember it being that expensive, but it could be. I don't remember.
I believe it was 18 because I end up getting that stick. Believe it or not, at Island Jim's. What's his lounge called? Bean and something.
Leaf and bean. Leaf and bean.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You know, in St. Augustine. That's where I ended up having my first one there.
Yeah.
What's going on, Mutt? What are you smoking on tonight?
You know, I'm giving her a shot. The Gurkha America.
The Gurkha. Oof.
It's not smoking like a Gurkha though. It's very clean. It's powerful. This Habano, it's a spicy meatball.
Yeah, okay.
But the retro, it'll sneak up on you. You know, you might want to go 90-10.
Okay. Wow.
It's not smoking like your average Gurkha. So I'm impressed so far.
All right. And I'm smoking. I don't even remember what I'm smoking. I don't even have a band in there. The band was so weak that the band fell off. I don't remember what I'm smoking.
Yeah. Go ahead. Come on. Tell us.
Well, I was giving Donnie, those of you that were on here last night, I'm smoking the Balachi. Let me just get to it. I'm smoking the West Tampa Balachi. You know, for what I'm gonna be the bougie of the night. You know, it's funny because I was going through my drawers right in the humidor, and I'm like, hey, you know what? And I thought about last night's episode. I'm like, you know what? Tonight's one of those nights. Let me go and enjoy a Balachi Boulevard, you know, limited run by Rick Rodriguez, you know. And I'm actually enjoying the last few drinks, you know, regular drink that I can have before my adventure tomorrow. You know, listen, I'm not ashamed of it. It's a little embarrassing.
We're at that age, though, man. We're at that age.
We're all gonna have to go through it.
Oh my goodness, man!
You know, I'm not gonna have to for at least 20 more years. But
you could kiss my. You know what, JJ? Oh, that's so foul, man.
That was a low blow.
It was a low blow, no pun intended, right? So listen, I got no issues. I've shared. It is what it is. You know, the Panda on Monday is going for his first colonoscopy. It's not something that the men normally talk about. You know what I mean?
But it's very important.
It is important.
It's very important.
I have prolonged this for the last at least 10 years. And everyone that I've spoken to, they said the day before is the worst, which for me is tomorrow. And then, you know, the hardest part about it is not the fasting, because I don't have a problem with fasting. It's the process of the fasting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, my procedure is not till like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday. That sucks.
That's rough.
Yeah, that's rough. You know, so my dad had some issues, you know, earlier in life, so I've had to do it since I was 35. And it's always, but you know, usually they get you in at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, and you know, you're home by 10 or 11, and you can kind of get back into get yourself rehydrated and all that good stuff. But it's
like I said, I have prolonged this for at least 10 years. My primary has been trying to get me since I was 40, just as a precaution. Not that I don't have any family history or anything like that. But you know what? I'm at that age. The Panda turns 50 next month, as you guys know. And the doctor's like, okay, enough's enough. You need to just go as a precaution.
Mm-hmm.
And
you got to get a baseline too, like so that when you have to do it again in 5 years, they have a baseline. Like, okay, this is what we saw the first time. If you have some, because all of us have like small growths and stuff in our intestines that you don't even know about, polyps and stuff. So if you have, if you got some when you're 55 that you didn't have when you're 50, they probably need to look a little further into it, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, look further into it, huh? Yeah.
And I'm gonna test the waters here because this is the late night show. Dad always told me there's a 2-hand rule. Never feel 2 cold hands.
Listen, but this is the messed up part, right? Let me elaborate even further. Not only am I having a colonoscopy, I'm also having an endoscopy. So I'm getting it from both ends, man. Yeah, dude.
So my dad always told me when you're doing both that you hope they do the top side first because if not, it tastes like crap.
Oh yeah, no kidding, bro. I tell you, it'll be a shitty experience, right?
Damn, they're gonna turn you into the Puerto Rican corn dog, dude.
For real, no, who you telling me had spears on both ends, bro?
Uh-huh.
No, man. Listen, it is what it is. Like I said, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Say my prayers and hope that everything comes back okay, and just so I could just go on for another 5 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it, and that's why I've been prolonging it for so damn long.
It's just one of those things you got to do. It's just one of those things you got to do as you get older. I've always said that women have it way worse than that. Starting when they're young women, they have to go through all the testing and all that. Go see their doctor once a year. We don't have to do it till we're 45, 50 years old. And okay, it's not fun to talk about. It's not fun to do, but it is one of those things that you just got to do, man.
Yeah, I get it, man. Trust me, man. And I'm also due for my annual. So this will be perfect. You know what I mean? I normally get my annuals mid-year, which is May, June is normally when I do my annual. When I do my annual, I told you guys before that I do A to Z. You know what I mean? Because of my profession and certain things I have encountered throughout my career and certain things that I got to stay on top of to make sure that nothing comes up, even though things happened years ago. And, knock on wood, obviously I'm good, But yeah, it's just another precaution, it's like when I got to go to the dermatologist, I got to go every 6 months because they found a couple of things that they had to cut out that had potential, etc.
Right.
And I went through that already, and I just went back to the dermo, and I was good because every time it seems that I go and visit her, she's always finding something to cut out of me, and I was like, "Leave me alone, lady."
I actually have to go see a dermatologist it's a mole that's growing on my ear, since I work outside, and as you can see, my ridiculous tan lines.
What's that, Randy?
Something they want to look at, and hopefully it's nothing.
Yeah. That I had the only thing that my body has is allergic reactions to the internal incisions. For whatever reason, like I have one behind the worst one that I had, they cut me like 4 or 5 times. The worst one was behind my hamstring. You know what I mean? Yeah. Working prompt at midnight. Oh. But you got another 2 hours to go, man. Oh, that sucks, man. Oh, you be safe out there, man. Don't let any of those kids kick you in the ankles, bro. So yeah, that was. But everywhere that she's cut me and she had to sew me up, dude, I have a big blotch, over there because it just seems that my body just doesn't do well with those incisions.
Right.
But all right, guys, I digress. Enough about my testing coming Monday. The only good thing that
enough with the Roto-Rooter.
Exactly. The good thing is the doctor promised me I'm going to lose about 3 to 4 pounds, so I'm okay with that. It is what it is.
Hey,
and he's like, be careful what's your first meal too. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. You better make sure the back blast area is clear.
I will give you a word of advice as somebody who's done this several times. Do not make Chipotle your first meal.
I don't eat Chipotle anyways, but I've been trying to eat cleaner, you know what I mean? As you guys know, I ordered it and I cleaned out the garage, you know what I mean? And the whole idea was to get my gym in my
we're talking about your actual garage, right? Not the,
my biggest fear that when I pass gas is it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Tear my finger muscle up, man. Like, Doc, just be gentle, Doc. Just be gentle.
And that's the thing. I mean, air won't even hit the walls. There's no.
That's it, man. Mud flaps.
Off an old Mack truck.
That's right, man. Oh man, see, I forgot what I was gonna say now, man.
Well, the best thing about it is, if you're somewhat worried about it, you knew we were going to bust your balls on it. So now it's laughing, making light of it, but it is very important procedure that we all need to think about.
Oh my God, man. I just, and like I said, I've prolonged, mind you, I was supposed to have it done that Monday that you guys left. The weekend, I didn't even realize that we had scheduled it the weekend, that Monday before the Monday after the Great Smoke. So I had to reschedule it, and this obviously was the only availability that they had, man. So, but yeah, it is what it is. The Panda's gonna, I'm gonna leave it alone at that point. All I know is that if I wake up and I see his zipper going up, we're gonna have some problems. Is all I'm saying.
I said
So you guys may see a bunch of posts on social media from Panda tomorrow because he's gonna be preoccupied in a certain room of the house for a lot of tomorrow night. So he may be posting a lot of videos and stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, the Panda's gonna be like this. What's going on, guys?
Well, the good thing is your septic's already been dumped and everything, right?
Yes,
about to fill her up,
I'm gonna be testing out the drain field, boy.
Because you're about to fill her up, bud.
Oh man, well I got $1,500 worth of sod out there that it needs to do fertilization there. So
let's see.
Oh my! All right, let's move on before we end up losing people before we get them. All right. So, oh man, listen, I want to continue this conversation that we started on Don and I yesterday in regards to this draft. And one of the big things we were talking about was Deion Sanders' son not getting drafted within the first 3 rounds, right? And, think about it. They estimate for every round that you drop is a $4 to $6 million decrease, right, that you lose.
Oh.
And this kid got drafted in the 5th and final round, by Cleveland. What do you guys think about that? What do you think it's a good match? Do you think, phone calls were made? Because there were, as of yesterday, there was 12 quarterbacks left on the draft. What do you think about that, Donnie?
I don't think it's a good fit because Cleveland now has 5 quarterbacks in the room. They got Deshaun Watson, of course, and they got Joe Flacco. They got Kenny Pickett, and they got the two that they just drafted in this draft. They got 5 quarterbacks in the room. They're going to go to the season with 3 max. So 2 of those guys aren't going to be there. And I think with those guys in the NFL, look, I think he dropped to the 5th round for several reasons. I don't think he's going to be a great quarterback. I just don't. It's just my opinion. But also, if you're not going to be a great quarterback and you got the baggage that goes with it, they're not going to put up with that stuff.
JJ, you lost internet.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
But you're not gonna put up with that baggage, that comes with it, and whether it's perceived baggage or it's real baggage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's still, hey, it may end up working out great. He may be the third quarterback on the roster. But, it might be Watson, Flacco, and Sanders. Great. You're the third quarterback. You know what? He's got to be okay with sitting for multiple years because Deshaun Watson is a mid-age quarterback.
Right.
Now, is Deshaun Watson? If Deshaun Watson ever gets back to what he was his first couple of years in Houston,
right?
He's going to be a.
If I'm going to be, what are you still doing, though, Yap?
But yeah, if he goes back to the old Deshaun Watson, he's going to be around a while. If he doesn't, he's had season-ending injuries the last 2 years. Yeah. He's had, he's got all of the other baggage that he had here in Houston, and it has persisted. Right. So you never know with that, but and Flacco's probably, I mean, I say it every year, but he's probably at his last year, but who knows? Maybe one of those guys catches on the practice squad. Who knows? But I don't think phone calls were made because I don't think that's the scenario they wanted to be in. I will give the young Sanders credit. I saw the video of when he got the call and when he got drafted. They were doing the dance. They were at least perception wise, they were happy they got drafted and moved on. And they'll go to camp and hopefully, look. I hope it works out for the kid. I do. I don't want to see somebody that is trying to get to that level that that just can't. But
I get what you're saying. But this is the issue, right? The quarterback position is the key position, right? Because that's that's your guy. That's your franchise guy. That's supposed to be your leader. That's supposed to be the guy that everyone goes to. And the reality is this, right? Not only does he have all the hype because of his dad and stuff like that, he's playing a position that all eyes on are on him. On top of that, because you know what, if he would have been maybe in the same position, if he would have became a defensive player like his dad, maybe even if he went on the opposite side, right? Maybe he became a wide receiver or running back, or most likely a wide receiver or tight end. I can see the kid at 6'2", you know what I mean? But quarterback, it's one of those positions, man. It's either you got it, you don't. I personally don't think he has it.
I mean, look. He's a 6'2". He's a 6'2" quarterback, which is not a big quarterback in today's day and age. He's 6'2", and he went 13-14 in college. I mean, it's not like he went 29-0 like some of these Georgia, Alabama, quarterbacks are doing. So,
yeah, man. Honestly, I just don't I don't know. I just don't. I don't see it, and just like I said, I see Cleveland obviously giving up some of these quarterbacks to have some money in the bank.
That's another option. I'll just take the Jets for example. Who's their quarterback now? They got
Justin Fields.
So they may need a young quarterback who's up and coming. So maybe one of those two guys goes to they get some draft capital from them. And
See, I don't see that. I don't see that. I'd rather not see that. I'd rather have Flacco come over, so that you have a seasoned veteran. That to me, I think Flacco still has an arm. You know what I mean? I think the guy still has a little bit in the tank, which will allow time for the Jets to work and find something that will fit in their core line.
The problem with Flacco though is he's standing in cement boots. He ain't moving nowhere.
Listen, I get it, man. Let me tell you something. I can't argue that. You know what? Yeah, let Flacco. Yeah, because he came to the Jets. He was with the Jets. Hold on, let me back check. I just kicked myself in the ass because I remember when the Jets played the Dolphins, and me and Ernie, because Ernie, the company that he worked for, had season 2, and they were right behind. We were right behind, man. And I remember screaming my love, "Move your feet, man! Move!"
Well, and that game with the Jets and the Dolphins is when Kiko Alonso tried to decapitate Flacco. That was that was a hit that you go.
Yeah, I remember. No, I take what I said. I'd rather have Watson, but I get what you're saying about his injuries. So what do you do, right? I think Justin Fields will serve his purpose for now. And honestly, I'm trying to think who's the backup quarterback for the Jets now. I don't even know. But I'm glad that they didn't go after a quarterback. I'll be honest with you. So here's the roster. Let me look this up real quick because, where the heck is it? So they got. Hold on, back it up.
They got Justin Fields and they got Tyrod Taylor.
Okay, Taylor. That's not bad, right?
That's not bad.
So here we go. So to me, they picked up oh my Lord, come on, Pete, man, get your stuff together here. I was looking for the entire roster. So they picked up Mason Taylor, right?
Right.
Which is like we said before, he was a
got the pedigree.
Yeah, good pedigree. Tight end position, which the Jets needed. I'm not disappointed with this pick. So they picked up an offensive tackle from where's he from? I can't pronounce this kid's name. Armand Membu. I can't even say this. So, right. But anyways, so then you got, like I said, Mason Taylor, tight end. Then we picked up a cornerback, Aziri Thomas, and then we picked up another wide receiver, which we kind of needed, and Arian Smith, which I think that's the kid from Georgia.
Right.
Once again, I'm not disappointed. A defensive back in Malachi Moore. And then the last 2 picks were both UM guys. All about the U, baby. Just saying. Francisco. Is
that the University of Florida? Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah. Okay. Don't haters are gonna hate. And then defensive end and Tyler Byron. Which to me, like I said, I'm glad that the Jets did not go and went after a quarterback. I think we need to build the team and the positions that we really need, which is pretty much everything. But most importantly, we need a good offensive line. I would have loved for them to go grab a guard. You know what I mean? I think that would have been great for whoever the quarterback is going to be during that time. But I don't see the Jets making it even to the playoffs this year. I'm hoping that they do. I'm hoping that with these new kids on, with Justin Fields, people give Justin Fields a lot of crap. I think he has a lot to prove to himself, and I think that he's going to do well with the Jets. That's my hope and my prediction.
Well, and you can't sleep on these 5th and 6th rounders, 7th. Look, the greatest quarterback of all time, and it happens once in a generation. But the greatest quarterback of all time was drafted in the 6th round.
Yeah. Look at Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith wasn't a 1st-round pick either. Yeah. And so listen, I'm not knocking it, but obviously, as we were talking about this before we went on live. Every round that these kids go down, they're missing out $4 to $6 million, right? That's a lot of money. But for most of these kids, it's the most money they will ever make, regardless, right? I mean, Sanders, he's made his millions in college, Which rises the question: are you for or against these college athletes getting paid?
I'm generally for it, although I will say, I think we have to rein it in. I think there has to be parameters on it. It can't be a free for all. It can't be the situation that happened at Tennessee this year where the quarterback is out shopping to see what he can get somewhere else. You know, and I'm happy that the head coach stood up to him. However, what's going to happen? You know, he lost his starting quarterback because he said, no, we're not going to do it. And the quarterback moved on. What's going to happen 7 games in when they're 2-5? The coach is going to get fired. And he did, in my opinion, he did the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's all about, in college, it's all about the winning. And
so
I think they have to rein it in. I think they have to have, you know, if you're, I don't know how you rein it in. I'm not smart enough to know that, but you know, if you're this tier guy, you can make this much money. If you're this tier guy, you can make this much money. If you're but like Sanders' kid's going to have to take a pay cut to go to the NFL.
Right. But listen, I've always been for these college athletes getting paid.
Me too.
Because, you know, the argument is, oh, well, they're getting paid with their education. Well, truth be told, how many of these athletes leave college and they're wiser than when they left high school?
That, and they can't walk. Their knees are shot. Their back shot. Their shoulders are shot. You know,
and that was going to be my next, right?
Right.
How many star athletes have we seen that at the college, they phenomenal athletes, but their body is taking such you know, injuries, right? They're taking so much damage, you know, that they can't go to the NFL, right? They can't go to the NFL because of all the injuries that they sustain. So now what? Now, what's always pissed me off is that these colleges are making millions off of these kids. Millions.
Right.
You know, they're making millions off of TV, right? These kids shirts and their
jersey sales.
Jerseys, you know what I mean? So to me, I'm like, you know what? I have no issues with these kids getting paid for their jersey sales, right? Because guess what? That makes every athlete want to become a better athlete if knowing if they do something, people are going to want their jersey, right? And go pay for it, and you get paid for it. But there is something to say with in regards to what you're saying, that there should be a cap, right? There should be, okay, listen, you need to.
Look, AT&T, and I'm using AT&T. I don't know if they sponsor anybody or not, but AT&T could come into Alabama and say, hey, we got $30 million we're going to give you to give to players. And, you know, so Alabama can now go out and get that star quarterback that, you know, and they have the money where you know, I don't know, Ole Miss may not have that kind of, and I don't know if Ole Miss has money or not, you know, whatever. Whoever the college is doesn't have that same money to go get that kid. Where, you know, NFL with the salary cap and all that stuff, everybody's playing on an equal field, you know, with money. So,
right, you could argue on both sides though, right? Because once again, how many athletes that were collegiate, they did phenomenal, but now most injuries of football is what? Your knees, right?
Your knees, your back, your shoulders.
So to me, for them to be able to walk away with something out of it, and because their dreams are shattered, right? Because now they can't go to the NFL, they can't go to the draft, they can't make a career out of it now. So they should have something for it. And like I said, you could argue both sides of the spectrum.
And you also get, you know, the star quarterback of the team is going to make just easy, you know, $5 million, and the left tackle that's protecting his ass is going to get a $10,000. You know, the construction company in town is going to pay him $10,000 to do a commercial. You know, I mean,
yeah.
You know, so,
but then it goes to the statement that I was saying earlier, right? The quarterback is the guy. Mm-hmm. You know, so you know, to me, I don't know. I mean, there's so many different directions we could go with in this conversation with it.
Well,
but
and left tackles in the NFL, left tackles never got paid until what? Until Lawrence Taylor tried to rip Joe Theismann's leg off. You know.
They're waiting for Lawrence Taylor.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor. You know, I mean, left tackles after that started getting paid because people said, "Hey, here's this franchise quarterback in Joe Theismann that he never played another snap of football because his leg was shattered, and it wasn't a dirty hit. It was a clean football play. And say what you want about Lawrence Taylor, he was an animal, but that wasn't anything. He made a tackle, the guy's leg snapped, and but so they started paying left tackles the way they pay, not the way they pay quarterbacks, but the way they pay some other, tight ends and wide receivers.
Well, tight ends just recently also just started getting paid. And to me, and I say that, and I've said this multiple times, Tom Brady and Gronk, had a lot. He changed and revolutionized the tight end position. I'm a true believer in that because, tight ends were normally for blocking, doing short plays and stuff like that. Never to be used as
slip out for a 10-yard pass, whatever.
A quick slant route, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Quick, button hook, whatever the hell it was quick, 10 yards, 5 yards just to move the ball down. And I said it again, Travis Kelce was in the shadows of Gronk for years, because people knew he was good. Everyone knew that. But Kelce wasn't as physical or as big as Gronk was. But also Gronk has all the injuries because all the passes he received and all the tackles he got.
And what Gronk was, he was too big for a defensive back to cover, and he was too fast for a linebacker to cover.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, he revolutionized. And I'll even go back. We talked about it last night. Aaron Hernandez before he decided to off a couple people. Whatever. He was the same kind of player. He just never developed because of his off the field crap. And Gronk stepped in it and took that to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And Travis, he's just lazy now. He just shows up to show up. It doesn't seem like he even wants to play anymore sometimes.
Well, listen, man, he's too busy with that extra stardom that he got with their little sweet cheeks. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But it was funny, and I mentioned this last night. It's crazy that Taylor Swift's. I don't know if she has a dog or a cat. I can't never remember. I'm not a big fan of hers at all, but that animal makes more money than
Travis Kelce does.
Travis Kelce does annually, dude. It's crazy, dude. Absolutely crazy. But listen, since they've been together, his jersey sales have gone through the roof.
Absolutely.
Right? Gone through the roof. And I said this yesterday too, that, if it wasn't for this extra, attention, their podcast, despite how good it is, they got offered $100 million for their podcast. Now they got a big sponsor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, listen, one of the guys, Pat's 12, he was on here, and, he was talking. We were talking about the whole Brady and Belichick duel. And he was on a mission. He was on a mission last night. I just finished. Hey, Yap, you still on? I'm sorry, you enjoying your alone time? John left you alone? One of my coworkers. Oh, man. So, yeah. So, like I said, what do you think, JJ? What do you think about these college athletes getting paid?
I think it's about time, honestly. Like I said, they bring a lot of revenue to these teams, a lot. Mm-hmm. And just like you said, I wouldn't say, I don't know what the number would be, but you're
the millions.
Oh yeah, you tear your ACL. There's a 33% chance you'll ever play football again from that surgery, and then even a 66% chance it's going to happen again.
Right.
Those guys, they're not even going to want to put a dime on you because he said, well, he tore his ACL once already. When's it going to happen again? These guys are in the NFL. They're bigger, they're faster, and they're stronger.
You're right.
It's going to happen. And like you said, they should be able to recoup some of that money because now their dreams are shot. So they should be able to recoup. If
and also, I think it goes back to also like before all this NIL thing, Jim Harbaugh, I'm sorry, came out and he was talking about like if he goes into an impoverished neighborhood to have a meeting with a kid, back then he couldn't take that kid's family to dinner to talk about going like,
mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Like, okay, like I can't buy the kid a meal, to talk about coming to the University of Michigan or when he was at Stanford or whatever. It just, I think we Derek Matthews, when we were talking to him the other night, he was talking about the 3-inch view versus the 30,000-foot view. We're looking at it at the 3-inch view. We got to look at it up here, like ease some of those rules. Get these kids paid where they can buy a pizza on a Thursday night. Like
right.
But and also, but
himself.
Yeah, but also, you said it earlier. And I don't know the answer. I'm not smart enough to know the answer. But these colleges are making millions off of these kids. And with the TV deal, like you said, TV deals, the jersey sales, the whatever else they have, they're making millions. And
dude, this is what I've always loved about college football, man. I mean, especially the big colleges, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio, even all these big colleges, you know what I mean? All these students that go and attend, those tickets aren't cheap,
No.
and most of these, look at a college stadium, it's always packed, always packed, and that's why. Schools. Yeah, and that's why these stadiums that they have in these college campuses, they look like regular professional.
They're bigger.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane.
University of Michigan holds 110,000 or whatever. Most NFL stadiums hold 60 to 70.
Yeah. And think about it, even put a reasonable amount of $20 a ticket. Do the math.
Oh yeah.
Do the math. That's what they're making plus the TV time that they're getting. It's just, I've always argued for these student athletes to get paid, and like I said, the argument has always been, the education. The education is their reward. That's their payment. Well, guess what? The reality is this, especially if you have a star athlete, right? People are going to start tuning in into your school and into your program more because of this student athlete, right? So no, it's not just the education that this kid is bringing, So I've always hated the fact that these kids never got paid, especially those that had potential and they got injured, and never made it to the big stage.
Like, I love Baker Mayfield. There's no denying that.
Mm-hmm.
But when he went to the Browns, I found myself, and I hate the Browns, Chiefs fan through and through. I find myself buying Browns, merchandise because it simply had his name on it.
Yeah, that's something. Then,
because the dude, he went to the, because a lot of the guys go to the Browns, and this is going to sound harsh, but they go to the Browns to die. A lot of the quarterbacks, they go there.
Killer. It's quarterback killers.
And there was a few that's made it out of that muck hole, and I think he was one who. He almost revolutionized that team.
Yeah.
Okay. Besides the last 5 years, name. I can really only name one Browns quarterback. That's Bernie Kosar.
Just like where do they go? They just vanish.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of another one.
Wow.
Nope.
Go ahead. You're right. It is interesting to see what happens in this draft, to see how these guys adapt to the NFL. I'm trying to think of the kid that got drafted by Green Bay. He's like 5'11". He's out of oh my Lord, I forgot what college he came from.
He's their starting quarterback now?
No. Running back. Oh my Lord! Who? Oh.
That's the kid from Boise State, Austin Genty.
Yes, Genty.
Yeah,
that kid. So right, he's a phenomenal player. 5'11". He's not a big kid, play, but the kid got some wheels on him, right? This is what I fear for him going to Green Bay. That boy is not used to that weather that Wisconsin gets and it's a different beast when you play in a snow blizzard, 20 below, and that wind chill is cutting through the your bones get locked up, all your muscles get tight. It's real easy to pull a hamstring, real easy to get injured. It's one of those things that when I played, man, like I wanted the first hit to hurry up and come. You know what I mean? Just to get it, just be done with it, And once you get the blood flowing, but I don't care. Listen, when you're on that sideline waiting for the defense to get off the field so you can get back on it, but you're freezing your butt off, man.
Oh, hell yeah. And, think about the kid who came from like Alabama or Georgia and they go to Denver.
Right.
You can't fucking breathe.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different. That's why, and a lot of athletes, especially UFC fighters, they go to Colorado to train because the air
altitude. Yeah, the altitude.
Jenke went to the Raiders though.
Then who the heck? Look up the kid that went to Green Bay. Guys, I'm telling you that kid, man. They'll show some of his highlights. You know how they show it, bro. This boy got some speed on him, boy.
Mm. Let's see.
Come on. Clock is ticking.
They got Matthew Golden from Texas as wide receiver. He's a small dude.
That might be the kid.
They got an offensive tackle from NC State. They got a wide receiver from TCU. Yeah, they didn't draft their running back this year. So you must be talking about Matthew Golden from UT.
I gotta see it. I gotta see his picture, man. I gotta see the picture.
And he's small too. He's five, whatever,
5'11".
He is. They have him listed at 6 foot, but he's not 6 foot.
He's 5'11" because that's the kid that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
dude, I remember that shit from high school too. Coach would be like, "How tall? How much you want to weigh this week?"
Oh my Lord! Is that I can't see good, man. Okay, I'm officially old.
But dude, look at the neck on that kid.
Yeah, and backstory on that kid, he was a University of Houston receiver, and he transferred to UT, which is that's a whole other thing. The whole transfer portal.
That was his senior year. He transferred over
UT, and
that.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, he's not a first round pick if he doesn't go to Texas. So, I hate the transfer portal. I hate used to be if you transferred schools, you had to sit out a year. But it is what it is.
Oh my Lord, I can't believe.
Well, and they did that to protect the integrity.
Right.
But,
no, oh my God. I know it was Green Bay. Because I remember it has to be. Then it has to be that kid on Golden. It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be because I remember his parents. They were talking about. Mind you, this year the draft was in Wisconsin.
Right.
And when they were interviewing his mom and his grandmother, they're like, "Well, you better get used to calling this home."
It was him. It was it was Matthew Golden. Yeah.
Yes. So
I love how the cheeseheads talk. Wisconsin. I love it. Wisconsin.
When people talk about my accent, I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, I'm just curious. All in all, I'm looking forward to this season to see how all these young kids develop and how everyone adapts and stuff like that. And also all these undrafted kids, man. Just think about it. They had to sit there for 3 days, hoping and praying for their names to be called.
So I got a local kid. He played with my son at Clear Lake High School. He went and played at Wyoming. He was a middle linebacker at Wyoming. He went undrafted today. Shay, if you're watching this, man, keep after it, dude. You got it. Pick up with somebody. I hope it works out for you, man. I love you, kid. But these kids, sometimes they say it's even better to be undrafted and then pick up a undrafted free agent than to get picked in the sixth or seventh round. So I don't know if that's the case. I'm not smart. Like I keep saying this, I'm not smart enough to know that stuff. But I hope for Shea. I hope he picks up with the team. I hope I hope he makes the roster. And if he doesn't make the roster, I hope he picks up on a practice. These practice squad guys, I like 3 or 4 years ago, I looked at it. They make $250 a year on the practice squad. That's good. That's a decent living. I mean, when you're looking at millions and millions, it's not. But when you're looking at what us three make, that's a good living. I live on $250 a year.
$250
for a veteran player on the practice squad. You can make $370,000 a year. That's $16,000 a week.
Yep.
All the way up to $20,000 per week. I'm telling you right now, guys, turn my body into bone meal. I'm going. KC, here I come.
Man. And like I said, it just sucks. You know what I mean? Because you work so hard to get there. You finally put your name in the hat, and I hope that you did enough. But listen, there's a lot of teams out there that still need players. What position you say he plays?
He's a middle linebacker.
There's plenty of room. You're gonna have a team pick them up, right? And because they're gonna be veterans, they're gonna be injuries, they're gonna be one of those situations that they're gonna need somebody young and healthy.
Fill up them depth charts.
Here's a funny story about Shea. He was a quarterback in high school, and he was that kid that was probably one of the best athletes that came through our high school in 15, 20 years, and he went to Wyoming, and he's Samoan. So, his body started developing, he started getting big, and he's still a physical specimen. And this kid is just, and you go like, okay, unless your name is Josh Allen, you're probably not going to be a quarterback at the size that you're becoming, and he became a middle linebacker, and he had a great success. And my opinion only, he was even a better baseball player. This kid hit the ball a country mile, and he played for me one year in Little League, and like in Little League, people started like intentionally walking him in Little League because they didn't want their kids just to get demoralized.
That is a shame.
And this is just my want. I want football to be fullback heavy again.
I love the fullback. I love that position.
Mike Allstott. I watch the same highlights I've been watching since I was a child. Every football season, that's what gets me hyped up, is watching Mike Allstott just destroy.
Those guys are crazy bastards, man. They just they'll run through a brick wall, man. They just, no regard for their health,
To me, watching a 235, 240-pound fullback just lowering his shoulder and steamrolling people, that's what I think football is. But it's a faster game now. You need more guys on the line.
They're all running that spread. They're all running that spread offense,
And I most definitely get it, but I miss that.
Listen, the game's changed, right?
Yeah.
It's a passing game now, right? Mm-hmm. If you're a receiver right now, dude, sky's the limit, right? Sky's the limit, and the things that the running back, and we all know, right? The running sets up the pass, right? You run to the pass and hope that you can get the yards down further down the field. But it's funny how the game has drastically just changed. There was really no such thing as a running quarterback back in the days. You stood in the pocket, you might just run out the pocket for a little bit, you know what I mean? When the pocket closed on you and you tossed it. But this is how more athletic these kids have become as time has progressed.
Michael Vick.
Yeah.
He revolutionized the dual threat quarterback, in my opinion. And may have been guys before him. But I think that's when people started opening their eyes that some of these quarterbacks got wheels.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, and well, Michael Vick was a specimen, man, because not only was he fast, the guy had an arm.
Yeah.
And his accuracy. Unfortunately, the circumstance that happened, and he had just signed a huge. He had signed the largest contract ever, and then not even to get and receive any of it. You know what I mean? Because of the nonsense that happened. But
yep.
And mind you, when he came back to the game, he wasn't the same.
No.
He wasn't the same.
He had a couple good years with the Eagles, but not what he was at Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta, that teams feared him. Teams feared playing them.
No, I mean, it's just. I really am excited this year. I'm even excited for my Jets, but I'm not gonna get too excited. But I think, like I said, I'm happy with the guys that they picked, and because listen, the Jets need everything. I mean, it's a whole new team, right? But I mean, this is time for them to start building. They got a new coach, new offensive coordinator. They got the whole thing. Everybody's brand new now, so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. And then, of course, you got the Cowboys. The Cowboys picked up some good people as well. Yeah, I know, Donnie boy. But even with that being said, you still have Jerry Jones as the owner
and the GM.
Excuse me, that's right. That he's slowly, taking that. I mean, he's destroyed the team. I mean, he really has. You know what I mean? He's become, like I said the other night. He's the new Oakland. I don't know why I keep on forgetting.
Al Davis.
Al Davis. Good Lord. And he is.
This just in.
Well, guys, I'm glad you guys enjoyed this episode. The Panda's out.
Oh man,
that's great.
That's so messed up, man. Dude, it's nice that we're talking. He's doing stuff on the sideline over here. Oh shit! But yeah, but like I said, man, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. The Dolphins picked up a good guard. They need not only did they pick up a guard, they also picked up a quarterback.
Yeah. So
it goes to show you that they're preparing. Yeah. They're preparing themselves because, I told you, and I was at my boy Ernie's house earlier today when me and Don, and I showed that, and I got my boy a nice big ass jersey autographed and authenticated for him because he loves Tua, But Tua, and it is sad, man. This kid is truly one good hit from being completely almost brain dead, man. Yeah. And it's like, I don't understand why would you jeopardize your health that way? I mean, he probably has, what is it, CTE they call it?
Yeah. And the thing is, you already made life-changing money. You already made life, not only life-changing, life-fulfilling money.
Yes.
You want to be able to pick up and hold your kids when when that time comes.
And he's respected enough. Go be a commentator. You're still going to make.
I'll tell you. So there was a linebacker that played for the Patriots. His name was Ted Johnson. He was in that same era with Teddy Bruschi and those guys. And so he was on the Houston radio for a long time. And it was when now that CTE lawsuit was going on with the league and everything, and he refused to join the lawsuit because he said, "I knew what I was signing up for."
Mm-hmm.
And you know what he said? He said, you come up and you hit somebody as a linebacker, and your eyes go dark. And when he knew it was time to retire, was when his eyes didn't come back before the next play started.
Yes,
but you know what he said after that? If you offered it to me today, I'd do it all over again.
Absolutely. We've all been hit so hard you get up and you're just, everything's spinning. And it's not just football. I think they concentrate too much on CTE in football because of the money they're paying these athletes. Right. Look at the UFC. You got a 260-pound guy giving you a shin kick to the bridge of the nose. I feel sorry for them guys in their later years in life because if Muhammad Ali got punch drunk off boxing,
Right. Listen, look at this new sport, right? This power slapping, you know.
There's no defense. There's no defense. Like,
It's
just taking a shot.
Think about the concussions that these guys are sustaining.
Yes. I guarantee it. They're signing something stating you can't come back.
Listen, you know Dana White, I guarantee you.
Yes.
And these guys are making pennies. You know,
Dana White, is he the promoter for that? I didn't even realize that.
He's the founder.
Yeah, he's bought and paid for.
Yep. And he, you know, he did just what he did with UFC. You know, he has weight divisions and stuff like that. Listen, Dana White did real good coming from the boxing community to UFC. You know what I mean? And he changed all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I said, these kids. I think the saddest person that I felt that really suffered from CTE that he purposely committed suicide. You know, and
what are you gonna say?
You know, Junior Seau. You know,
he was one of my favorite players ever.
You want to talk about a beast?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When he was with the Chargers, man, I mean, he ended his career with the Dolphins, but you know, this is a man that ended his life by shooting himself in the chest. And mind you, he left a note purposely saying, I need my brain to something along the lines of I want my brain to be examined.
And he was a genuinely nice human being. You know?
Yeah. You know, Chris Benoit, the Rabid Wolverine, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
That was sad though, because he lost his mind at the very when Eddie Guerrero died.
Yeah,
because him and Eddie Guerrero were really good friends. But he really went on the deep end, and that was a really sad story, man. You know, the way he ended it, his family, etc. You know, and it goes to tell you how messed up it gets you. You know,
and I think CTE, you have to be a cadaver in order for them to look at it.
Right. Yeah. It's undiagnosable unless they study your brain.
And that's crazy because you know, being in those sports, action sport. I mean, football is a violent sport. Yeah. We know what we're getting into, but there's no real way you're going to protect yourself from a pass rusher these days.
Right.
I mean, they're faster than they've ever been, bigger than they've ever been. It's like getting hit by a Volkswagen. And
JJ, even at your age, you know, and I make a joke about your age, but even at your age, when you played football, you think about it. You come off the field, you just took a shot. And the coach is like, "You okay? Yeah, man. I just got my bell rung. All right, get over there, smell some salts, and get back in there."
Yeah.
You know, I have a friend of mine who's passed away, but he was an orthopedic surgeon. He used to tell me, "There's no such thing as getting your bell rung. That's a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a minor concussion, but it's a concussion. You know, and there's a real thing called second impact syndrome. You know, when you already have a brain bruise, basically, and you take another hit, you know, it's exponentially worse." And
yeah,
but I don't know what the answer is. You know,
the sad part is that you think all the technology that we had that we'll be able to see it through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, imaging and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, you know who I think has CTE, and you know is the kid from Pittsburgh, Brown.
Oh, Antonio Brown. Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Mike, he lives down here in South Florida. You know how many times he's been arrested? You know, for like off the wall stuff. You know what I mean? He's definitely got CTE, man.
Look at Brett Favre's current condition.
Oh yeah, that's crazy, man,
dude. And that's from getting that melon. You know, getting that brain bouncer on that melon of his.
Well, that's what they call it. That's where the term. I just got my bell wrong because what does a bell do, right? It bounces up, and that's exactly what it is. You got hit so fast that your brain smashes into your skull.
Yeah,
right.
You know, and that's what it is. You know, and it's just it's scary, man. It really is scary.
And like I said, and I think as time goes on and these athletes evolve into bigger, faster specimens, it's only
collisions just get harder. The collisions just get harder, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you look at these defensive ends.
They're running 4.5 40s. I mean, they're crazy.
300 pounds, some of them.
Yeah. Yep.
That shouldn't exist. That's like getting hit by a Volkswagen at 20 miles an hour. It's nuts. And, it's not – football's not what it was 30 years ago.
But look at the equipment. Look even the equipment that they used to have back when they first started, right? They barely – they had metal cleats, right? Spikes. They used to have spikes, and they used to play dirty.
And a little leather helmet.
They used to step on people's ankles with them cleats. They would step on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a dirty, dirty game in the early seasons.
And JJ, going back to what you just said, back when I played football, I played high school football. That was it. I wasn't very good at it. But you think about the only people that ran a sub 540 were the running backs and receivers.
Yes.
Us linemen we didn't run sub 540s.
No.
Like, these linemen are running 4.7s, 4.6, and the defensive ends are running 4.5s. I mean, that's just
yeah.
They're just freak athletes, man. They're just,
Back when I was in high school, a 4.5 gave, as a running back, that was a full ride scholarship to anywhere you wanted to go. Mm-hmm. And he was around here he's 5'9", 175 pounds running that fast. Not 6'4", 275 pounds.
Right.
It don't make sense.
Yeah. It is absolutely mind-boggling. But guys, I'm like I said, I keep on saying that, keep repeating myself. I can't wait for the season to start. We all know the severity of the game, man. But mind you, the equipment has changed. Look how big those damn helmets have become.
Oh yeah.
It's sick, man.
And now these guys can wear that padded thing over their helmet if they want too. That I forget what they call it, but
yeah, what was it? Because people was wondering why Tua wouldn't wear one.
Yeah,
it's a Guardian. What's it called?
I don't even remember, but it's
something cap. But
I'm telling you that boy is one good hit, man. One good hit.
From altering his life.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you see it when he gets hit, what his body does. Dude,
Well, we remember last year, right? He fell. He didn't even get hit. He fell and he was out for what? 4 weeks, 5 weeks?
Yeah.
And it goes to show you they should have never let that kid come back the first time he got injured. They should have just sit his ass down. You know what I mean?
But can't the league not make the final call and just tell him, for the betterment of you're not coming back? It shouldn't be his decision at this point because he's obviously he's not in the right state of mind anyway.
Right.
Well, not only that, you have that sense of team and you have that sense of, it's my boys. I want to get back out there with my boys.
Right. I get
it.
But
at some point you got to protect you from you,
Absolutely.
Right. Somebody got to step up, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to be that person to watch out for them. Even if it's not the best decision that they feel for themselves.
Yep.
But like you said, he's got money.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, some people don't understand how these salaries work, right? They're only guaranteed money. So when you see this contract, 5 years, $300 million, but that means they got to fulfill those 5 years.
Yeah, it might be only 240 is guaranteed or whatever,
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, right?
Now we're still talking about $240 million, but
God, the things I would do, I couldn't look like that in the eyes.
but that's why they fight more for the guaranteed money than the actual contract for the fulfillment of the contract. So. And this is what we could talk about this in another segment, in regards to these athletes that they blow their money shortly thereafter their retirement. You know what I mean? Because they pissed it. That's something that we could definitely talk about on our next maybe late night segment.
I like.
It's
different. I do. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's something different, man. And like I said, because that to me is a really hot topic, in regards to these kids that come from nothing and they become millionaires overnight and they just don't know how to act, and that's when they need that mentorship and they need someone to really guide them in the right direction. and just to kind of touch on the topic a little bit, I remember, as much as I can't stand this individual, he was a Minnesota Viking guy, Chris Carter. The guy is, in real life, the guy's a complete a-hole, and but he I don't know if he ever got it started in regards to these kids when they, like a mentorship in regards to how to properly prepare themselves from day one for retirement. You know what I mean? Especially if you're a superstar, right? If you're a super athlete and you're getting all these sponsors and you're making money from all these other people. But like I said, I don't want to get too much into it because to me, I think it's a very good topic for us to talk about in the next late night episode on the Leaf and Nash podcast, baby. Let's go. But listen, guys, it's been another hour.
Another hour down, man.
Another hour, Yeah. Well, guys, once again, if you like what you see, this is something new that we're trying out. Just something we're chopping. Normally we're chopping it up on our own private Discord. We figured we'd just try something new, and hopefully we could get the four of us, on the next one. Get PC in this one. This is Don and I's third one, and John JJ came and joined us tonight, which is awesome. Awesome sauce, baby. So if you like what you see, like I said, guys, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that also. Whenever we go live or something like this, you get notified whether you talk to us live or you see it on the pre-record hour after the recording or whatever they call this afterwards. But before we leave, as always, we want to give thanks to our sponsor. All right? Go roll that beautiful bean footage, baby.
There it is.
What's going on, guys? This is your boy Panda, and your boy Panda has some great news. We have teamed up with Burn One Cigar Bar, located at 7328 Royal Palm Boulevard in Margate, Florida. Guys, Burn One Cigar Bar is your go-to destination for the finest selections of premium cigars at unbeatable prices. Step into a world of luxury and relaxation as you indulge in the smooth flavors and exquisite aromas of our carefully curated cigars collection. But that's not all. Burn One Cigar Bar has teamed up with us for an exclusive sponsorship opportunity just for you. When you call Burn One and purchase any box of cigars, you unlock a fantastic discount of 20% of your order using special discount code PANDA. You can contact Burn One at 954-970-0001 or on their social media pages, Facebook and or Instagram. Guys, don't miss this chance to elevate your cigar experience without breaking the bank. Visit Burn One Cigar Bar today, mention discount code PANDA, and treat yourself to premium cigars at incredible value. Hurry up, this offer won't last. Burn One Cigar Bar, where luxury meets affordability, and they ship nationwide. Peace. Peace.
Hey, I want to say one thing before we go. So everything you guys see here, the brick background, the clips and everything, this man right over here has set up. I was driving the ship tonight, so don't blame him if it looked like crap. I was trying to drive the ship tonight. I'm trying to learn how to do all this stuff,
You did great,
but everything that you see here, man, we don't call him the one finger pecking sensation for nothing, man. He does a great job setting this stuff up, and it really is not as easy as JJ makes it look in our regular podcast. Just like let's roll that footage. Oh crap, where is it? So he's got this stuff ready to roll, and I'll say one thing. He's this
phenomenal, baby. Oh, look at you!
He's getting it, man. He's getting it.
He's got his own new setup, got a new camera, got a mic now.
I hope my audio is much better than it has been. I listened back to our podcast that you and I did the other night, and I sound like I was in a reverberating box. I was like, oh, this sounds terrible. So I hope it sounds better. I made some changes, so
yeah, man, it looks good, man. It looks good,
real good.
All right, well, guys, another episode down. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.